how many of you have actually started using Stepper? We would love to know that, because that'll help us better understand what language to use today, maybe some general information to share, that kind of thing. So drop in the chat if you've committed to Stepper, or if you're on another platform and you're considering moving over. I was a Zapier user, now I'm on Stepper. So it's okay to admit that, guys. It's okay to admit that you've come from another platform. And while we are doing that, I'm going to hand it over to Dean so he can say hi, because he is technically co-hosting with me for these sessions.
I am co-hosting, and I'm also a little under the weather, so I don't have the winter excuse. Though for some reason there's a massive flu season in Sydney this year. But anyway, I'm not too bad. Great to meet you all. As if you don't know me, I am Dean. I'm one of the co-founders of Paperform and Stepper. I co-founded with Dione, who's also hiding in the shadows, and is my wife. If you've never met either of us before. Cool. Maybe we'll talk a little bit, just quickly giving an overview of what Stepper is and why we built it. Maybe is that cool?
Definitely.
Yeah. So yep, Stepper is an AI native workflow automation platform. So we started working on Stepper just over a year ago. We're really excited. It's still relatively new as a product. We launched October, November, maybe. Definitely on the back half of.
I think it was like first week in November.
There we go.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Really, what we were looking to do with Stepper is we saw all of this new power, all the new abilities that AI was enabling in the wider tech community. And having run Paperform for the last 9 years or so, we've watched this automation space really bloom, and we saw how AI could really make it so much simpler and easier for people to get started automating things. Automation's been around for a very long time, but it's often been the territory of the very technical and the very brave. It can be very time-consuming and frustrating and painful to do, as well as expensive to run. So what we're setting out to really fix with Stepper is those two problems. We wanted to make it super easy for people to get started automating without having to learn all the complexities of an automation platform, which AI really does a great job of bridging the gap to. AI really sits inside of Stepper as an expert that's always there, always on, ready to help you put your business on autopilot. And then secondly, we wanted Stepper to be really cost effective to run. Our heart with Paperform has always been for small businesses. For a very long time, we've thought of Paperform itself as a small business, and we really want to see our customers get the most out of their lives and out of their business. And part of that is not being afraid to scale their automations for fear of waking up to a very scary bill one day. So we've tried to position Stepper's pricing to be as cost effective as possible, so that you can sleep easy, knowing that your business is going to run on autopilot and it's not going to cost you everything in the long run.
Yeah, I think to that point, that's always been something that's been really exciting about Stepper for me, especially like I'm a one-woman show. I don't have a team. I'm like, yes, I'm doing automations, but I also am mindful of my automations, right? I'm not doing these insane numbers of tasks and runs like larger teams or even larger businesses are doing. And that's always been something that's been frustrating for me as a small business, is thinking about my tech subscription, right? And like how expensive. I think at one point I was paying like $120 a month for Zapier and running like 10 automations. Like it's kind of wild when you think about it. And so it's been fun to see the difference in what you're running, the experience you can have. And if you guys haven't met me, I should probably intro myself too. I'm Sara. Hi. I have been on Paperform since 2018. I use all of the tools. Literally, I also use Double. Shout out. I will always shout that tool out. It is my favorite little indie build that Dean has made. a paper sign, now Stepper. And it's really interesting because when I think about my business, whether it's operations or, the creator side of my business, I am so focused on experience. It's kind of gross. Like, it's sickening how important experience is to me. And, and especially when we think about small business and we think about freelancing or consulting or whatever you do, everyone's like, oh, I wish I could get more testimonials, or I wish I could get more referrals. And it literally all comes down to experience. If you don't automate things, which you don't need to automate your entire life, like, I'm not saying that, but if there are things that will impact your client experience, your partner experience, things like that, it's worth considering automating those things so that when it comes time to have invoices paid, to have relationships built, we're all 7 degrees separated from everyone. And if people don't listen, people don't care about deliverables. They care about how you made them feel. And if you are showing up, you're promising things, you're making them feel important, that's what keeps your business going. And so I really believe that automation is kind of that accelerant there. And when you figure out what that looks like for you, things get a lot easier. And I will say, Dean, I've been playing with Stepper AI literally to just ask it, how can I make this experience better? What are ways that I can improve this workflow for a better outcome, right? It's not just about pushing data from what video did I just publish from Paperform to Google Sheets, right? Like, that's a task. But when we really think about what is the ultimate outcome of that, is it to email people faster? Is it to get more sales in our inbox? Is it to answer questions so you're not doing sales calls or follow-up emails all day, every day? Those are the types of things we want to think about with automation. And Stepper AI has been really fun to kind of see, well, what would you do? What would the robot do if the robot had emotion, So cool. Okay. Do we want to go over some Stepper lingo? Because I think some people put in the chat, George said, yeah, he hasn't committed to Stepper yet. George, do you want to unmute for a quick second and let us know, are you on an automation platform? Are you not doing automations at all? Kind of give us that walkthrough if you're comfortable.
Mm-hmm. If I get off of this.
Yeah, we can hear you.
Oh, good. Glad I wasn't on before. Yeah, I ran a nonprofit for 40 years. And so I had thousands of clients. So I left there. So now I'm starting in my own consulting business, since I was in there so long, and it was a competitive thing. So we won a bunch of world championships. So, so I'm just kind of, after taking a little break, I'm just getting into that. So I really I'm creating through my websites and things like that, like a place to land. But my season actually begins next year, like September-ish. So I have kind of 3 or 4 months to ramp up here. Before I have to start actually even providing services. So it's kind of a one-man show. I have a couple other people that stop in for me now and then, but for the most part, at least for the year number 1, it'll be a one-man show. See how we do.
Cool. Love it. Sounds like you do robotics like I used to. Our season was always September. No, I'm just kidding. Yeah, I think, okay, so that's a great example for all of y'all in here, thinking about what do you actually need. And I will preach this till the day I die. I do not care. You need to start analog style and write your processes down. Write what you do down, because that's what makes then turning the tech and the automation easier, building these workflows out. And so what I want to do is first go over our Stepper lingo. So as Dean's showing some stuff today, I'm showing some stuff. The language we're using is not new if you haven't played with Stepper yet, which, side note, Stepper has a really good free plan. So you should just try Stepper anyway and play with it today while we are here. And then, so lingo. So Dean, do you want to take over and talk through the difference between a step and a component, or do you want me to do it?
Yeah, I'm happy to do it. Sure.
Cool. Go for it.
I might actually just share a screen quick so I can just put some visuals to. I won't go crazy or anything. So Stepper, we're a workflow automation product. If you haven't seen it before, this is roughly what the Stepper editor looks like. from a completely blank canvas. If you haven't had experience with automation platforms before, they often all use pretty similar language to describe how they work from the, I suppose, from the bare bones. The first thing that we have in an automation is a trigger. Something happens that's going to initiate this automation, this workflow. We call that a trigger. We have heaps of different things that can actually start a trigger. You can trigger something that's just going to happen on a recurring basis with a schedule. You can trigger when things happen, say on a form submission in Paperform. But we support a whole bunch of applications, triggers from different things. It could be adding a row to a Google Sheet or receiving an email in your Gmail. Triggers, something happens. So then after a trigger, you have an action. So just for a very quick example, I'll set up a new submission trigger. Okay, so we have a trigger, and then we have a step. So a step is something that's happening. So we have a new form submission, then we want to send an email, add a row to a Google Sheet, do many different things. Really, anytime that something is happening, we're calling that a step. The only other language that I think is really important, which Sarah's identified in the slide deck, is a component. A component is what we would call a manual trigger. So we can see here we have this trigger called a local component. A component is really a manual trigger. It's a way of taking a set of steps or one step and pulling it out into its own discrete little package that you can then call inside of other workflows. So you might have a component that is email thing, which I won't have put any inputs in, and all this component's going to do is move that. Send an email to me. And this is obviously a little bit arbitrary. But it highlights what this is for. So then anytime we'd want to say email Dean inside of another workflow, so say we can do Paperform submission and we just want to send that same generic email to me, we can call that component. And okay, email Dean, my workflow. The really cool thing about components inside of Stepper is, so this is a local component. This component exists inside of this workflow and can be reused as many times as we want inside of this workflow. But we could also then publish this component to a component library. And what that is that's a shared set of components inside of Stepper that you can then use across all of your workflows. So anytime, we could have a generic notifications component library for sending Dean an email. What that means is that anytime we want to change the way this process works, we can go and just update that component, and everywhere it's used will then automatically use that component's updates. So, say instead of emailing Dean, I wanted that to send me a notification on Slack instead, or I wanted to do both, we could do that. Anyway, steps, components. Hope that's a really clear, simple idea. Did you just, Sarah?
Yeah. Does anyone have any questions about kind of the Stepper lingo? Anything that's coming to mind, you guys could take over. If you've got questions, we can answer them. Would love to kind of hear. Also, hi, Leslie. I didn't say hi when you came in. Hi, Jasmine. Calling you guys out. I don't care. Okay, great. Well, you guys know, of course, any questions that you have, you can unmute at any time. You can also put your questions in the chat too, if you're not comfortable unmuting and asking. But what we would like to do is build now. So I kind of mentioned, before, and I'm going to say it 12 more times, before you build an automation, you have to understand what it is that you are actually doing. What is the task? What do you need done? Dean just gave a really great example of if a paper form submission comes in, we want to email Dean or we want to send a Slack notification. But you may want to take it a step further and send let's say I have a workflow right now where I have this quiz. It's a lead magnet on my site that basically helps people create a budget. And they put in, they answer, I think it's like 6 questions, and I use Paperform calculations, and then it like spits out a number for them. So for me in my workflow, when I sit here, great, I have this quiz, love that for me. But when I sit here and go, okay, well, why? Like, what's the point? If I get this data, someone submits this form, like, what do I want to happen? Like, what is the point of this data, right? So the first thing for me, I always think about what's an internal action that's a reaction of the task at hand. So internal for me, this is where kind of a multi-step comes in, but it would be, well, if the budget from the calculator is the right number that I'm comfortable working with, they're technically then a qualified lead, right? If they match that qualification, I want to then push them to book a sales call or a discovery call, whatever we want to call it. So in my workflow, my internal action is when they submit this paper form, we want it to get pushed into my Notion CRM. And I want to tag them as a qualified lead. We are saving the data where it needs to be saved. So that's internal. But then we always want to think about an external action or reaction of a step that happens. So if someone fills out a lead magnet, a quiz, they would expect to get an email from me saying, hey, thanks so much for taking this quiz. Would love to talk to you. And, one thing that I actually really love about Stepper, I use Flowdesk for my newsletter and my email marketing. And when we think about pushing them onto a newsletter platform and segmenting them and doing all those things, that's so many more tasks than me just having a one-to-one connection. So for me in my business, I actually don't do any sales funnel marketing through my newsletter platform. Anytime someone fills out my quiz, my lead magnet, my contact form, they get an automated email directly from my Gmail account. So literally the example that Dean just showed. Send an email, right? And what's cool about Stepper is that we can actually write the email in there, pull data that they filled in from the form on Paperform, and then actually send a custom email. And I've noticed since I put this in place that I've had a 32% uptick in responses to cold people filling out this quiz, to actually replying to me and saying, hey, like, this is so great, but it's way out of my budget. Let's think about it for next year. At least I'm getting a response from them. Whereas when I was doing it on my newsletter platform, I wasn't getting anything because people could tell it was like a sales email, So again, we want to think about the experience. So when we're building automations, I want you guys to think about what's an internal reaction and an external action, if possible, right? Sometimes there's not going to be external. There's not going to be external facing things. But it could also, you could treat external as Dean, when he gets a form submission, maybe he emails RJ. That could be an external action because it doesn't have to do with Dean anymore. Does that make sense how I'm explaining that? Okay, I'm seeing some head nods. So hopefully if you have questions, you're going to ask. Okay. So before you build, what I would love to hear from you guys is what is one automation or one workflow that you wish existed in your business? I want you guys to take like 4 minutes, get a piece of paper, get a pen, pull out your phone, pull out a Notion doc, whatever works for you. And think about what could you automate this year that has an internal reaction and an external benefit to running it. And then we'll come back at 4:26 and we'll talk about it. Does that work? Cool. Okay. And I'm going to get some water and soothe my throat for a second.
We need some elevator music.
I know. I don't know if I play it, if it'll come out of my, how do you set up like stuff to come out of your speakers, but also go into your microphone? I never do that correctly. Next time, guys, we'll make a playlist. It'll be great.
You just have to sing for us, Sarah. Just have to sing for us. the crackly voice.
Absolutely not. Absolutely not.
Did you create a stepper automation through Spotify that sends a song to everybody?
That would be fun. That would be
That would
really
be,
fun.
through Google Meet.
Yes. That'd be fun. Oh. About 1 more minute, y'all. Okay, how's everybody feeling? We have a workflow. We feel good. Andrew, you look very serious.
I'm okay, I promise.
I'm just being mean. Gabby, how is your workflow looking? Good?
Yeah, good. I'm getting married this year, so I thought I would take this time to make a little workflow for my wedding site.
Oh my God, obsessed. I love it. I love it. Welcome to the squad. It's great
Thank
being
you.
here. Trust me.
Yeah. Very excited.
I was telling Gabby I definitely went overboard with automations for my wedding. I automated all of it and it took me weeks and it really wasn't worth it.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, Jesse and I just did the Vegas thing. We didn't tell anyone. We just did it, called it a day. It was great. 10 out of
So
10.
good.
We'll do it again.
So good. I think our
I
family
plan
would
events full
murder
time.
us.
I don't want to do them for myself. So
Fair enough. Yeah.
oh my gosh. Okay. I am gonna randomly pick someone. Let's see. Craig, do you wanna go on the spot and share what workflow you put together? And if you don't, it's okay. But I'm calling you out. Maybe Craig's not in here. Unless you can't. Can you? Okay, we'll move on. You can put it in the chat. Jasmine, do you have a workflow that you worked on?
Yes, I do actually.
Hi.
Hi. So I didn't start my business yet. interested in starting a crochet business. So I'm thinking of, you know, a personalized thank you for your purchase email and,
Okay.
you know, an automated email once someone reaches out possibly for assistance or if they have any questions and things like that.
Cool. Okay. Yeah. I think that's a pretty easy workflow to put together. You know, especially if the trigger, Dean, I'm thinking like the trigger there could be a new email comes in to Jasmine's email and it just auto replies. But also from what are you planning on selling on? Are you going to use Shopify? Are you going to use Squarespace? Have you thought about that?
I was either considering Etsy or Shopify.
Got it. Okay. Yeah. So where are we at with integrations, Dean, with Etsy? Has that been released yet?
No, I don't think we've got Etsy yet.
Okay. So probably what we could do in the meantime is play with a trigger. This might be a little more advanced, but I'm thinking the trigger could be from the Etsy email that hits the inbox. And then we just pull that email out from the purchaser contact info, and then you send from there. Definitely doable for sure.
Okay. Well, yes, this is exciting. So I'm excited to learn more.
Cool. Okay. Well, I challenge you for the next 15 minutes to go into Stepper and build it. It doesn't have to be perfect. And then you can show us at the end.
I don't know about this is
no
my
pressure.
first time.
Yeah, let's have you created your Stepper account yet?
Yes, I have it pulled up on my laptop.
Okay, great. Are you comfortable screen sharing?
So the laptop that I'm using, it's separate from the one that I'm connected to.
All good. Okay.
Yeah.
All
Sarah,
good.
I can maybe just.
Well,
go
that's what I was
through
going to say. One of
yeah,
us could do it, but I don't have an Etsy email. Well, I guess like the trigger, we'd have to kind of force it. If you want to show it. Yeah.
I can fake it maybe.
Yeah. Let's see.
Give me one
I'll let
second.
you present.
Okay.
Yeah, because the other really cool thing about Stepper is that the way we can share things, we can kind of show you enough to template it out for yourself. But let's say like you and I were on the same team, like in Stepper, you can share components with other team members. So that for some of y'all in this call, if you have team members, that's like really cool because then you only have to build things once and you just hand it off and give it to other people, you know? While Dean is doing that, Marissa said, I'm too overstimulated to participate, but I want to absorb as much as I can. Consider me a ghost. I hear you. I totally hear you on the overstimulation. I will not be talking for the rest of the evening after we hang up today, guys. Listen, I give it my all when I'm here, and that is okay. Similarly to Jasmine, while Dean's trying to finagle this to see if we can get you a template for it, I'm going to share because mine's very similar too. One of my goals for 2026 is to really be more intentional about showing little love to people and sending a quick, hey, I'm thinking about you, or hey, happy birthday, Merry Christmas, like whatever those look like, and using my CRM for either A, their birthday, if I have it, or B, triggered based on holiday dates. So think like, I don't know, October 30th, I send a happy Halloween, ooh, scary, kind of email, and really be more intentional about following up with people. That's something I am not good at doing. And so I'm working on an automation for ways to send cute little things as the year goes on. And it doesn't need to be gifts, but like gifts with a T. I want to be sending more gifts, GIFS, in email inboxes. That is my goal this year. And just more personal, being like, hey, like you're the bomb. I want to see how you're doing, I mean, Jennifer knows this. I'm always messaging you in the Paperform chat. I'm like, hi, it's me again. But I want to do that without needing something, just because.
That would be lovely to not have to answer a question and just say hi. No.
Yeah, you're like, Sarah's so annoying. Like, read the help docs.
Yeah, you've always got interesting questions, and you challenge me on my JavaScript. Like, I'm really rusty on it, so it helps.
No, it's okay. I feel like I give Teal the runaround more than anyone. Like sometimes her and I are really just going to town on troubleshooting. I love it. Does anyone else want to share a workflow that they are going to be building? I'm really making eye contact with a lot of y'all, and no one knows who I'm looking at, which I love. So everyone's squares are in different places. Oh, there's Dean. Okay. You are off the hook, everyone.
You're off the hook. So I just sent an email to myself, just for an example. I've just drafted something random up. So we can imagine that this is from Etsy. You know, I've got an Etsy store and somebody's bought a black T-shirt for $25. Got a delivery address, got some customer details which I just made up. Obviously, these details are all random, whatever. But say this is all Etsy. This is all that we could ever get out of Etsy. They have no way of setting up a marketing automation to send your own customer thank you or extra information to the customer.
Dean, do you have a bell going off? Is that your microphone?
I can't hear anything.
There's like a massive alarm. Can y'all hear that or no? Or it's okay, then it's me. Sorry. I have no idea where the sound is coming from.
Just in your brain, Sarah.
I think it might be in my mind.
Uh-oh. So I'll start a new workflow. Share this tab. Okay, so this is connected to my Gmail currently, so I'm going to go Gmail, and I'm just going to build this manually. We could ask AI to do this, but I think for showing off how, I suppose, the nitty-gritty of the platform works, a manual build is probably going to be simpler for this one. So I've got a Gmail trigger, and we have a whole bunch of different triggers here. So every new email that comes in, every new email that has an attachment, every newly labeled conversation. So if you want to set up automations for when you're organizing your Gmail, then you could do that as well. A newly labeled email. But I'm going to use this new email matching search. So I'm going to do, so Gmail actually has this funky format support that you can do stuff like I want to search for the subject, and when I do Etsy order, something like that. So what this will do is every time we get a new email matching that subject line, it's going to trigger a new workflow. So it's very, very simple. Then we need to actually look up the email itself. So if I go Gmail again, so this is for our first step. We're going to get, just making sure I'm clicking the right one. Do you want to get the email or do you want to get the thread? Email message. All right, we'll go get the email message. All right. So this is probably a little bit tricky if you're new to SEPA. By default, when we're looking up, so this is just getting an email by ID. When I click into this drop down, it's going to list all of my recent emails so I could select it. But because we actually want to match the email that came in from the trigger, I'm going to click this custom option here. And we have this box here saying custom message ID. That looks really scary, but trust me, it's not as scary as it looks. If I do the @ sign, we can then use values from previous steps or from the trigger. So we are looking up the message ID, which looks like it's the same as the thread ID. So this is coming from when the email matches the subject Etsy order. And then we can choose, delete the extra character, what content we want to return. So I'm going to grab the full content of that email and I'll run a test action. All right, we can see that's run an example, and we can see we've got our snippet, got who it came from. We can see has all this scary stuff in the actual from the API of Gmail, but it also has the body of the email here. We have HTML and plain and a whole bunch of things as well. So we have information that we need to work with here. So if we wanted to email the customer, obviously we don't have the customer's email address very usable at the moment. So what we'd actually want to do is extract that customer information out with AI. So I might actually just skip into AI chat here and say, add an AI step to extract the Etsy order, customer, and delivery information out. So what this is going to do is it's going to use Stepper's built-in AI step to read the actual email itself and pull out information from that email. So it's going to pull out, the customer's name, their email address, phone number if it had the phone number. We could say explicitly what we wanted to pull out. This should in theory just be able to pull out all of this information as well. Okay, so that's said it's worked. Let's see what it's done. All right. Step 1 body. I'll make sure that's working. Let's go all. Okay. So it's pulling it out in plain text at the moment, but maybe we'd want to go return some structured data consistently. And I'll click continue and we'll see what this does. So I'm just running this test action. So this is just testing out what this AI step will actually do. And drum roll. AI ever returns. There we go. So it's identified that there's items being returned, one black t-shirt, USD, customer, name and email, delivery address, which looks pretty cool to me. And then finally, we might want to send an email to that customer to say thanks. I'm just going to use the built-in Paperform email. And if I just search for email, scroll down, there we go. Cut all the way down here under extract order details. That's the AI step. We have customer email address. So I can insert that. So it's going to use AI to automatically pull the email address out of the default Etsy email. And then we can say, thanks for your order. And we can say, hey, customer name. Insert the customer name. So they say, hey, Jim Jones, thanks so much for your order. We'll work on getting that out to you ASAP. And that's it. That's all we need to do. Once we publish that workflow, then anytime a new email comes in matching that search, it's going to trigger that workflow. It's going to analyze the content of AI, pull out the contact information, and send them an email as configured. You could then also use that exact same step here. So if we wanted to then put that into, say, a Google Sheet or a Notion database with the order information, then all of that information is available there for you to use. We could split another step there, say, add row. Let's do Google Sheets. Oops, wrong one. Google Sheets. Choose, and then add a row wherever it is. Create a spreadsheet row in front of me. To go and create a Google Sheet for mapping that order details. So, you could use the one workflow to extract all that information out and do whatever you wanted with it as well. if you wanted to, you could also then put in a component here for saying everything that happens after a new Etsy order information, so you can just use this as an abstraction to get that information out of the email, which is obviously a little bit tricky. Yeah, hope that's helpful.
Yeah, I'm even thinking too, like to that point, Dean, like, having a system for fulfilling orders, like you said, like a Google Sheet, and being able to even set up a status to say like needs to be fulfilled, or, I've never been on the back end of Etsy, so I'm not sure kind of what that system looks like, but I'm assuming you maybe want to do some kind of CRM, Jasmine, that can track that stuff and even know, how many times are people reordering from you or have ordered multiple times. I bet you $20 Etsy does not track stuff like that very easily. So being able to use additional components like in Google Sheets could be really cool for that. Dean, there's a question in the chat. So for components using AI, what are the security components in place to safeguard protected data?
Sure. So you're controlling the inputs and outputs of what actually goes to AI. So if we go back here, shouldn't have stopped sharing too quickly. So you can see here, this is the Ask AI step. So we're asking AI. We have a whole bunch of built-in actions. Lost the pre-configured stuff. So this is just plain text. We can type in whatever instructions we want, and we can bring any values, any information from previous steps into this setup. So we could put it in the instructions or in input. I've put the entire results from this email into the input here. But if you just wanted to do very specific pieces of information, so only the body of the email, then we could do that as well. So you're in complete control about what's being sent to AI and what AI model is being used. Out of the box, we provide support for OpenAI and Anthropic models without having to bring your own API keys. If you did want to bring your own API keys, we support a whole bunch of other services as well. Yeah, so if you wanted to lock down, to your own Google credentials or your own Amazon Bedrock, for example, if you're running inside of kind of Amazon's cloud, if you're a larger business, then you can certainly bring your own API keys and then control, I suppose, what models are being used as well. Yeah, we wanted to make that all very straightforward. Yeah, and we also wanted to make it very clear that we're not just going to send everything to AI automatically, because that's not going to be great for anybody.
Yeah, that was helpful. Okay, great. Does anyone have any other questions? We've got about 10 minutes left, so I want to make sure that you have your questions answered. If you need a demo and you want to share a workflow, we can build it for you real fast, and you can see literally how we do it, but also no pressure. But I would love to pressure you to unmute and give us an example or a question. Gabby said in the chat, also, Jasmine, I want to quickly mention that everything that Dean just did, every manual step in configuration, can also all be executed by Stepper AI. So while you're still learning and getting started, you can easily talk to it. Yes, I actually wanted to make that comment too, and I'm going to add on to Gabby. I think that is probably one of my favorite pieces of Stepper is what Dean showed. He got stuck and he was like, you know what? I'm just going to have the AI take over and have it fill in. And that is actually not something that you can really do on any other platform. It's either use their AI at the very beginning or start all over again. And I will say too, even as someone who is a quote unquote expert, I regularly get stuck, especially when it comes to like the IDs and the random little tags. Like, I don't know what any of that means. That's not how my brain works. And so being able to really like literally troubleshoot is probably my favorite part of Stepper AI. Seriously. And there's only been a couple times where it's been a little wonky, but we've gotten through it. It'll be like, you're talking to me too much. Like, go away. Like, I need a break. We'll be on a break. But
the other really great use case, I mean, we're all here trying to think of how to use automations in our business, but the other great use case of Stepper AI is actually you don't have to use it to build things. You can actually ask it to think through ideas as well. So like in preparation for this call, I'd made this demo form the other day for a marketing video actually, which is just it's a marketing agency client onboarding form. It's really quite straightforward. I'd used Paperform's AI to actually make this form. But it's a great example of, if I go into Stepper AI, so if you're creating a new workflow in Stepper, this is the first screen you're going to see. And you can simply say, like, I have a marketing agency client onboarding form. What kinds of things could I automate with it? And really just let AI come up with ideas about how you can streamline processes as well. You don't have to sit there and think about all the ways that AI can solve all of your problems. AI is really good at being, an idea partner with you. This automatically came up with the really obvious stuff of, you've got a new client starting, maybe you want to set up project spaces in Asana or ClickUp or Monday. Maybe you want to create CRM records, depending on what your business looks like, or setting up Google client folders in your Google Drive. Maybe you want to do notifications or assigning specific team members to clients. Maybe you want to automatically start scheduling kickoff meetings. Maybe you want to get documents signed. And then obviously communicating, clients to email sequences. Maybe we want to analyze their project specifications with AI and understand automatically whether it's something we're interested in or not. Kind of like what Sarah was saying around, scoring customers with Paperform's calculations. You could do that with AI inside of Stepper as well, to, I suppose, make it even simpler to say, hey, AI, does this meet all of these criteria of a kind of project that I'm interested in? Yep. And then tying in with your finance tool or admin systems as well, potentially. There's heaps of different options. And that's just, the ideas that AI came up with from that very simple description of what I've got to work with, that I'm trying to figure out how to automate around. If you are struggling to think about how your business processes could be streamlined, feel free to come and talk to AI. It doesn't just have to be anything form related as well. As we were saying at the beginning, Stepper supports a whole bunch of triggers from a whole bunch of services. So come and describe your processes, the things that you do, and ask AI for ways in which your business could be streamlined with AI as well. Like, you can set up these automations so that you don't have to remember to handwrite that email to every new client that signs up. You don't have to go and copy that Google Drive folder repeatedly every single time, taking that 20 minutes to set up the folder structure every single time you set up a new client. All those little things are really the bread and butter where Stepper shines.
Yeah, that's probably one of my favorite workflows I have for my business. Is I do a Slack channel with every client, and as long as they're like a long-term project, and I have a workflow that once they sign their contract in PaperSign, it actually goes through and creates the Slack channel, sends the welcome message, like puts all the details in there, does everything it needs. I just wish in Slack, like, you could and this is not a Stepper, this is like automations across the board. You can't invite users from an automation, which is so frustrating. But if I could automate that piece too, and just like add them into Slack overall, like, how great would that be? But yeah, I mean, you could seriously just automate so many things. And to that point too, I would just think about, for all of y'all, like, even think about repetitiveness, right? Like, I take the perspective of, like, if I do a manual task more than twice, it should be automated if it can be. Because then it goes back to experience. The more you do it, you're going to get bored of that task. You're not going to do it as well as you did it the first time. You're not going to be interested in it. So just take it off your plate, So, cool. Well, any questions that you guys have, I'm going to Dean take over presenting real fast. If you guys don't know, we have a Discord channel if you are Discord lovers and users. But basically this is our dedicated space to like answering questions, giving help. You can also like share the fun things that you've built in Stepper in there. And then of course, like content and live streams like this, we post in there as well. So you can scan this QR code and join the community. It's free. And, something Dean touched on too, Dean, you can also echo me in what I'm about to say. But, like he mentioned at the beginning, Stepper literally launched like right before the holidays, like literally like the first week of November, we were in beta or public beta access. And so things are getting launched literally every day. I think we're up to like 400 apps that Stepper works with, or more than that. Like it's insane. And the team is working so hard. I mean, the team is here, guys. Like they are working day and night to really make this the best platform it can be, just like Paperform and PaperSign have already hit the mark. So Discord's a really great place to also put in those feature requests too. If there's something where you're like, I want Flowdesk, or I want, I don't know, the ability to order DoorDash through Stepper. I don't know. I'm just throwing random things out there. But like if there's something that you want or something you need help with, like Discord is a really great place to do that. And the team is in there and they can help as well. So Dean, what's on the roadmap? Do you want to share anything that's coming down the pipeline in the next couple of weeks or a month until our next session?
Absolutely. So we're not quite at 400 apps yet, unfortunately. It would be great, but we're at 72 apps. We're building 4 million apps. Every app. We've got it. We're about 72 apps, and it's
put on the app list, guys.
Yeah. So apps are definitely our number one priority at the moment. We are heads down building heaps. I think we've got another 8 or 9 coming in the next week or so, and we're planning to get to 200 kind of by the end of this quarter. We want to make sure our apps do all the things that you actually want them to do. We want customers to come in and actually have a great experience of. We don't want to just do the bare bones single action of an application. We don't think that's going to be a great experience. We'd rather do it right. So we're building out apps. We're prioritizing apps that people are requesting as well. So if you've got apps that are blocking you from using Stepper, let us know. We will prioritize it. It's definitely a number one priority for the next month or two.
Yeah, definitely. Well, cool, guys. Well, like I mentioned, we are running these sessions once a month for the foreseeable future. So you can always also pop into these if you're like, hey, I'm trying to build this, or hey, I have this like wonky idea, like would love to share it with you guys. And this is really just your space to have one-on-one time with the team and with me, because I'm a bonus of the team and I'm very proud to be one. But of course, any questions in the meantime, you don't have to wait the month. Please ask the questions that you have. I'm also in Discord, so you can message me in there too. And if you want, my help or have questions for me, I'm an open book. So anytime. But we'll make sure that we get this replay out so you guys can rewatch it. You can download, you can marinate and mull over it. And we also, are putting out content regularly to make it easier for you guys to build in Stepper. So even if there's things you're like, oh, I wish, I could see this or that, like, please share it with us. Please let us know, because we really want to make this continue to be a success. So, all right. Any other comments, questions, concerns before we all go eat dinner or breakfast, depending on Dean and y'all, it's breakfast for you, it's dinner for me, but wherever you're at in the world, we need to eat some food, right? Like just go and have a snack. Well, cool. Anything else, Dean, that you want to add? RJ, Jen?
No, it's been great.
No, I'm starting to look up the Spotify API documentation though, because you have inspired me.
That's good.
I think that would be so fun.
We'll see what I can come up with.
And then you just get to pick
and
some
Connor's been looking at it as well.
Yeah. Nice.
I love it. All right, guys. Well, enjoy the rest of your day, and we will all see you soon. I'm going to end the recording and kick y'all out.
Bye.
Thanks, Sarah.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye,
everybody.
guys.